Hello, and welcome to another video for Accounts for Schools. In this video, we're going to go through some of the features of the Debtors module. For every transaction recorded against a debtor, an email is sent to the debtor confirming the transaction. Those email templates are set up over here. You can define an email template for an invoice, avoided invoice, credit notes, receipts, statements, and exemptions. In Accounts for Schools, we have various options for invoicing debtors or parents. The first one is fee invoicing. This is where you would invoice them for school fees, hostel fees, or aftercare fees. Bulk invoicing is used to invoice for things such as camps, tours, and outings. Single invoicing allows you to add an invoice to a debtor's account, and requests are used for fundraising purposes and do not create a transaction against the debtor's account. When invoicing school fees, for example, you can provide the parent with an option of how they want to pay off those school fees. By default, they will receive a single invoice that is due by the end of January for the entire year's school fees. The email they receive has a link in it, which they can click on if they want to change it. Their other options are to pay monthly by EFT or monthly by debit order. If you accept debit orders, you select which dates or day of the month debit orders are processed. And then we have a couple of emails. The first one is the first invoice email stating the school fees for the year. If they decide to change that, they will receive a second email confirming that they've changed to, for example, monthly EFT. The third one, if they've signed a debit order, they will receive a copy of the signed debit order. And the fourth one is if you decide to reverse those fees, they will receive an email confirming the reversal of those school fees. And the last one is the debit order mandate, which a parent can sign, and then you yourself as well as the parent will have a copy. To invoice fees, I first need to indicate which general ledger accounts are fee accounts. Once I've done this, those fee accounts will then appear under this list. If I select a fee account, it will display the department it's linked to. I can enter the transaction date, tick which grades are applicable, and enter the details of the fees, the description and the amount. Once I've done that, I can post it. I can reverse it if I've made a mistake with it, and I can do a print. A parent will receive an invoice for the fees for the year with the due date of the 31st of January 2025. When receiving money from a debtor, the receipts page shows the payment schedule a debtor has chosen to pay off their fees. In this case, I've selected school as department, and this debtor has chosen to pay over 10 months. You'll also see that there's an invoice there for camp, which is a non-fee. I can then allocate the amount that they paid to the different outstanding balances for this debtor. From the Manage screen, I can manage transactions in my Debtors module. These include invoices, credit notes, receipts. You can search for different transactions by invoice number, the date, the name of the learner, the date of the debtor. Here I have a debtor's invoice, and if I click on Edit, I can then manage that invoice. I can credit it, or I can void it. Void removes the transaction from the debtor's account, but keeps it in the background. If I credit, it'll create a credit note which will then also appear on the debtor's account. With receipts, I can transfer a receipt to another account if I've realized I made a mistake. I can cancel a credit note. I can transfer an invoice from one debtor to another. This gives me better control over my debtor system and not having to pass journals when I've realized I've made mistakes. Other features in the Debtors module include the ability to send out reminders for overdue invoices, create and send recurring invoices on a regular basis, manage exemptions, as well as send out statements.